morning. We have a great lineup for you guys, but before we get things going, I do want to thank our sponsors. We could not do these events without them, so thank you to Berner Cott Associates, Urban Spaces, the McKinnon Company, and Sienna Construction. There we go. Yeah, we can clap for them. All right, so you're not here to hear me speak, but we are going to kick things off with Paul Ognibene, tried to say that right, from Urban Spaces. So I will go ahead and let you take things away.
Thank you, Ashley. Good morning, everyone. We have a great turnout for the event today, and it's really no surprise because people here in Cambridge love to talk and think about the future of real estate development in our city. I'm Paul Ognibene, and I'm the CEO of Urban Spaces. We're a real estate development company which I founded in 2004, and since then we've worked on over 17 projects in Cambridge. I first came to Cambridge to go to Harvard Business School on the other side of the river, but living in Harvard Square while in school drew my attention to Cambridge's incredible vitality and possibilities. One of the reasons I think Cambridge is an amazing place to live and work is because it has two of the greatest universities in the world and so many startups and established companies. The schools and many of the businesses are on the cutting edge of innovation, and together employ tens of thousands of people in industries including biotech, pharmaceuticals, and emerging technologies. Cambridge's thought centers and employment hubs provide a great foundation for real estate development. My wife and I bought our first home together in Cambridgeport, a neighborhood between the river and Central Square. Back then, the neighborhood was still a bit edgy, and the pulse of energy and opportunity for growth were palpable. With that backdrop, Urban Spaces secured our very first substantial development project in our neighborhood at the former Blessed Sacrament Parish site. The church was a beautiful old structure and had a lot of interesting architectural details and history. Coincidentally, it was our church, and I'll never forget when my wife and I were attending Mass and learned of the church's imminent closing one Sunday morning. While I was saddened to hear the priest explain that the church would be closing its doors, I must admit that I stopped paying attention to the sermon early on, and a light bulb went off in my head, and I started thinking about the building's development potential and the floor plans and the window openings. The project turned out to be a real challenge for us. We had to figure out how to work with a former school, a convent, a rectory, and of course the church. But it also had a lot of challenges with neighbors, which is something Cambridge is very well known for, very interested and involved, intelligent neighbors. We learned so much from that project, which we now call Dana Park Place, and since then we've focused much of our company on developing in Cambridge. To me, though, the Dana Park project was emblematic of real estate development in general in Cambridge. It requires a lot of creativity, a lot of patience, a lot of tenacity, but all well worth the energy and effort. In Porter Square, you may have seen another one of our projects, which we call the Rand, named after the gentleman who purchased the land back in the 1700s for his barrel-making business. Earlier this spring, the Rand was built with modular construction, which has come so far in its quality and style. The project went up in just 4 days and showcases the benefits and potential future application in Cambridge for manufactured housing. We've done several other projects outside of Cambridge, in Boston and other nearby towns, but we really like working in Cambridge more than any other place. And one of the most important reasons is because although permitting is always challenging, Cambridge's permitting process we've found to be very well defined and very predictable. The city staff is smart and professional, and most everyone we've worked with, from the city manager's office to the community development department, traffic and park and inspectional services, all very committed to helping Cambridge realize its full potential. If you believe in the principles of thoughtful growth and thoughtful development, you can do good things here in Cambridge. So the major topic of today's conference is an in-depth look at what the future holds for Cambridge, including where the next substantial developments might emerge. One such area is what we like to call the First Street Corridor, which is the stretch from Kendall to Lechmere in East Cambridge. We all know that public transportation, especially the MBTA's Red Line, has played an important role in development and changes that we've seen here in Cambridge over the last several decades. The Red Line has been a catalyst that helped Kendall Square to become one of the most active real estate micromarkets in the country. It's helped Central Square morph into a neighborhood that is so much more lively than it was even just 10 years ago. And at the end of the Red Line, there's been significant new construction at Alewife and Fresh Pond just in the last year or two. So clearly, the Red Line has played a key role in connecting Kendall all the way to Alewife. But what about connecting Kendall in the other direction to the Green Line's Lechmere station? And what does the future hold for Cambridge if Beacon Hill can find a way to fund the Green Line expansion beyond Lechmere to Somerville and Medford? In the future, will the Cambridge Side Galleria open up First Street and further activate the First Street corridor? These are questions that perhaps our panelists today will discuss, and many of us in this room will explore in the future. Our Urban Spaces office is right on First Street, across from the Galleria. And when we go to work every day, we see that change on First Street is coming quickly. Just in the last few years, the First Street corridor has started to transform abandoned windowless warehouses and parking lots into over 1 million square feet of office space and hundreds of apartments. We've already contributed to the transformation by developing the Axiom at 159 First, a 6-story, 115-unit apartment building with retail on the first floor. And starting next month, we're continuing the connection with 4 new projects extending even further down First Street toward Lechmere, 4 blocks down. These new projects will include a 60,000 square foot office building, 136 new residences, 35,000 square feet of new retail, and a beautiful new green open space. I've always thought that foot traffic is a sign of an active neighborhood. And when people are out and about walking and going to small stores and restaurants, it really feels like a neighborhood. Interestingly, Kendall has 5 times more foot traffic right now than First Street does. We envision the First Street corridor emerging to someday have the same vitality. All of us who live or work in Cambridge are very fortunate to be here, and I'm proud that Urban Spaces will play a role in this great step forward for our city. So today we have a terrific lineup of panelists for our discussion, and each of these individuals is a visionary in his or her own way, and they will tell us about what they see for the future of Cambridge. Thank you all so much for coming, and I hope you enjoy this morning's program.
Thank you, Paul.